Let me share this video. Wait, that's another thing. There we go. That's what it is. There we go. Screen. Okay, now you should see the video.
Mr. J. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. And as you can see, there are four mixed numbers on your screen there. We're going to change each of those to their equivalent improper fraction. So let's jump right in to number one. And we have 3 2/5 here for number one. So we're going to change that again to its improper fraction. So what we need to do, I call it the C method. We're going to start at the bottom here, and we're going to count. We're going to multiply the denominator, the 5, times the whole number, and then add the numerator. So we would do.
Okay, so for this one, you do this for every single one of these problems. You'll repeat the same steps over again. So, what is 5 times 3?
5 times 3,
Yeah.
15.
What's 15 plus 2?
17.
So 17 is the top number. What's the bottom number?
The 5.
Yep. Listen further in the
Yeah,
video.
so for mine, I got 75 over 2.
Okay, let me see what, okay. Just 1 second.
It's
What's the actual fraction that you're trying to do? It's improper fraction. I can't see it.
So it's 37 1/2. So I did 37 times 2, which is the denominator. And then
Yeah, that's
37
right.
times
That's
2 is
right.
74
Yes.
plus 1 is 7.
7 times. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. Just for a review here, though, just watch the video. Watch the video.
5 times 3 plus 2. So 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is going to give us 17. That's going to be the numerator of our fraction. And then keep the denominator, the 5, the same. And there we have it. There's our improper fraction. Now 3 2/5 is equivalent to 17/5, 17 over 5. Both of those, the mixed number and improper fraction, hold the same value. We just changed the form. Now we should be able to go back to a mixed number and get the same thing. And remember, to get back to a mixed number, we do 17 divided by 5, the numerator divided by the denominator. How many whole groups of 5 can we pull out of 17? Well, 3 whole groups. It's us to 15, so we have a remainder of 2 left over, and we keep the denominator of 5. So just to double check our answer, we went back to a mixed number and got the same thing that we started with. But the improper fraction for 3 2/5 is 17.
Could you pause it real quick?
So let's go to number 2 here. We're going to make our C here and start at the bottom and go to the top. And it's always
All right, so he said to divide, which in my case it's 75 over 2. So I'm dividing 2 into 75 because he divided 15 into 17. And it goes in, so 2 goes into 75.
Start with 2 divided by 7. How many times does 2 go into 7?
6 times.
No. 2, 4, 6. How many times is that? 2, 4, 6.
Oh, that's 3 times.
Then 2
3
times
times
3 is 6. Then 7 minus 6 is what?
It's 1. You dropped a 5, so now it's 15 into 2.
Yep. There you go.
15 goes, or 2 goes into 15. It goes in 7 times.
Yep.
Fourteen minus 15 is 1. So I'm at 37 and 1, and then I don't understand how the denominator is 2 off that.
You got to drop down a 0. You got to add a 0 and drop the 0 down. And it's going to be, there's going to be a
2.
decimal after the 37. And then you take 10 divided by 2. How many times is 10 divided by 2?
10. So it's 5.
Yep.
5 times 2 is 10. So it's 37.5.
Yes.
Okay. So is that just like the answer? 37.5?
Yep.
And then add. Always multiply, then add. So the first thing we do, 2 times 7, which is 14, plus that 1 gives us 15, and we keep the denominator.
Were you trying to say something?
Yeah, so my book, the test I was taking still says that's wrong. So it still says 37.5 is not the answer. The answer is 3/8.
Okay, then what you're asking me for is not what you asked then. It's supposed to be a fraction then.
Yeah, it's how to change a mixed number, fraction percent, into just a fraction. So 37 1/2
Okay,
percent
then what
to
you're
3/8.
asking is two different things then. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
my
the
apologies.
fraction has to be converted into a decimal or a percent, not into a fraction. Because what I understood was convert a mixed fraction into a fraction. That's what you had said.
My fault. I asked the wrong thing.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It happens. At least you learned that part there. So basically, what you're asking for now is converting a fraction into a decimal. Am I correct?
I don't know how to explain this. It's not that. It's how to change a mixed number fraction. So it's like 37 1/2 into just a fraction. So it's like the whole number is 37, and then there's a 1/2 following it. So 37 1/2% it into 3/8, just the fraction.
Okay, so it's turning the percentages into fractions is basically what it is. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much. Percentages into fractions.
Okay, that's okay. It happens. Percentages. There's plenty of information on this stuff, so here we go. Try this one. One might help you. Let's see if it does.
I received my master's of nursing and my doctorate
Welcome to Math with Mr. J. In this video, I'm going to cover how to convert a percent to a fraction. And remember, percent means per 100, or you can think of it as out of 100. So let's take a look at number 1. We have 82%. So that means 82 out of 100, or 82 per 100. So our fraction would be 82 hundredths, or 82 over 100. That's how you put a percent to a fraction. Now we can simplify.
Was that meant
Alright.
to far?
Yeah, so for me it's 37 1/2 over 100.
Yes, exactly. There you go. And sometimes they'll tell you to round it to its whole number just to make it easier for that sake.
So in this case, would it be 38?
If it's telling you to write an exact answer down, unless it doesn't tell you to round it to the nearest whole number, it may tell you to round it to the nearest tenth. It may tell you to round it to the nearest hundred. But in this case, usually most of the time, it'll tell you to round it to the nearest whole number.
Alright, I'm just gonna round it to 38 because 37. I'm gonna round up 37 1/2 to 38 over 100.
So a common factor between 82 and 100 would be 2. It's actually the greatest common factor. So let's divide by 2 to get our fraction in lowest terms. So 82 divided by 2 is
Could you pause it real quick?
And 100 divided by 2 is 50.
So I have to find the greatest common factor of 38 and 100.
Yes. And it is actually real simple.
Yeah, how do you find the greatest common factor?
Okay, so they're both even, right? 38's even, 100's even. So what is the most common factor, least number that goes into it? It can't be 0. It can't be 1. All they do is go into itself. So how about 2?
2 divided by 38.
Yep, there you go.
But it's asking for the greatest common factor.
That's probably the greatest common factor, because if you try to go with any other, okay, so let's try this. See, 4 doesn't go into it. 6 doesn't go into it. 5 or 10 doesn't go into it. One of the numbers would go into the other one, but the other one wouldn't go in the other one. They have to both have the greatest common factor. So 19 goes into 38, but 19 doesn't go into 100. So we're looking at this. So it'd probably be 2. I would keep dividing by 2 until I got my answer. So what's 38 divided by 2?
It's 19.
19 would be the top number. Then 100 divided by 2 would be
Is 50.
so it's 19 over 50. Is there any other numbers that you can think of that 19 and 50 go into? Because here's the hint. When it's an odd number on the top and an even number on the bottom, most likely there's not a number that fits in there. It's very rare if it does at all. So you're reducing it down to the lowest term. So the greatest common factor would be 2, and your remaining fraction would be 19 over 50. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Just let me know when I can play the video.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
All right, good. Oh, this stupid thing.
So again, percent means per 100, so 82% means 82 over 100, and then we simplify. Number 2, 50%. 50 out of 100. And we can simplify this one. The greatest common factor between 50 and 100 is 50. We can divide both by 50. And 50 over 100 equals a half. So 50% is 1/2. Number 3, 9%. So that's 9 out of 100. And that fraction's already in simplest form. So 9% equals 9/100ths, or 9 out of 100. Number 4, 120%. So that means 120 out of 100. And that's an improper fraction, so it's going to be greater than 1 whole. We can pull 1 whole 100 out of 120 with 20 left over. Keep our denominator of 100 the same. And 1 and 20/100ths can be simplified. The greatest common between 20 and 100 is 20, so we can divide both by 20. And we get 1 and 1/5. So there you have it. That's how we convert percents to fractions. We put that percent over 100. It means per 100 or out of 100. Hopefully that helped. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.
Okay, did that help you?
I mean, that definitely does help with other problems, but I do have one problem.
Okay, well, we'll just do one problem at a time here. This is what you had me for. So you have 33 minutes left of what other explanations could thought we were going to do a test, but I mean, hey, here's what it comes down to. You're paying me to do a job. So you tell me if you want like question sessions like this, that's not a problem because I do these all the time. I just didn't realize that you needed that. So what I'm going to do for you is find a percentage decimal test for you to set up for you that shows samples on it to show how to do it so that you can go through it and practice it.
Alrighty, thank you. That's definitely helpful.
No problem. Now, how about this? Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. No worries. I definitely interrupted you. So you go first, because I didn't exactly know what I was.
Okay, would you like to see the video on percents converted to decimals? Or are you good with that one?
No, I'm pretty good on that.
Okay.
Let's see. I guess we can fit in one more question. This is It says find the percent one number is of another. That's the section I was working on. It says find what percent one number is of another. In this case, it's 16 is what percent of 24. The answer is 66.6667.
24. Hold a second. Oh, here we go. Here's one right here. Try this one. This guy is really good. This guy is really, really good.
So my question is, what is 16% of?
Yeah, I'm going to show you a sample of that.
Hi, and welcome to Math Antics. In today's video, we're going to learn how to do one of the most common calculations with percentages. we're going to learn how to find a percent of a number. But what does that even mean? Do numbers have percents that they hide somewhere and then we have to go looking for them like a game of hide and seek? Gotcha! Not exactly. Finding a percent of a number makes more sense if you remember that a number just represents an amount and that a percent is really just a fraction. So finding a percent of a number really means finding a fraction of an amount. Think about it this way. Let's say the number 20 represents an amount, like the amount of ladybugs that you found at the park one day. And let's also imagine that you agreed to give 25% of all ladybugs you found to your little sister. Okay then, so how many is that? If you have 20 ladies,
So it's basically saying the same thing as 20 of 25%. That's what it's asking right there. So watch closely.
ladybugs, how many is 25% of that amount? That's what it means to find the percent of a number.
25% is the same as 1/4 or 1/4. So it's the same thing as 0.25.
number. You're finding out how much that percent or fraction of the total is. In this case, since our total is 20, we need to know what 25% of 20 is. So how do we figure that out? Well, it's really easy if you remember back to one of our fractions videos, the one about multiplying fractions. In that video, we learned that when dealing with fractions, sometimes the word of is used instead of the multiplication symbol. When they say find 1/2 of 16, they really mean find 1/2 times 16. Well, guess what? Since a percent is just a special fraction, of means the exact same thing with percents that it did with fractions. When we have 25% of 20, that means the same as 25% times 20. Great. So all we have to do to find a percent of a number is to multiply. But how do we multiply a percent and a number together? Do we just forget about the percent sign and multiply the numbers together? No. If we did it that way, our number would be way too big. 25% should be a smaller part or a fraction of 20 ladybugs. But if we did 25 times 20, we'd get 500 ladybugs. Clearly, that's not the right answer. Here's what we have to do instead. Remember that when you see a percent written like this with the percent sign, it's an abbreviation for a fraction. In this case, 25 over 100. So we need to use that fraction form when we multiply, since we're really multiplying by a fraction. Now some of you may also remember that percents have a decimal form. We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay then, if we use the fraction form of our percent, then our problem becomes 25 over 100 times 20. Now that's a problem we know how to do. To multiply fractions, we just multiply the top numbers, and then we multiply the bottom numbers to get the answer. And we can just write 20 as a fraction by putting 1 as the bottom number, because 20 over 1 is the exact same value as 20. So, let's go ahead and multiply. On the top, we have 25 times 20, which gives us 500. And on the bottom, we have 100 times 1, which is just 100. So our answer is 500 over 100. Now 500 over 100 might seem like a strange answer, but that's just because we still need to simplify it. 500 over 100 simplifies over 1, and 5 over 1 is just 5. That's much better. So 25% of 20 is 5. All right, so to find a percent of a number, we just need to multiply the fraction form.
Does that make sense?
A little bit, yeah.
I'll go through it step for step with you. There's a stop on it real quick. I'll go through it again with you.
See, I get it, but the only problem is my question says 16 is what percent of 24? He was doing, he was doing,
He was doing a percentage of a number with reducing it down to a fraction.
yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do from here on out so we're on better communication. I need you to show me a screenshot of what you want to do with each and every session so we get the value out of it. You're learning the stuff on here, like what you're supposed to learn, but then I can understand it. You don't have enough, some of the knowledge is not clear to you of how to explain what you need done. So, all right. So you're trying to find 16 of whatever 24 is, right?
Correct.
So I'm thinking that 16 over 24, whatever that is whatever the percentage is. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, it's 16 is what percentage of 24?
Okay, so do me a favor. Do 16 divided by 24, and that should be your percentage. You take those two numbers, that's what I believe that you're looking for.
16 divided by 24?
Yes, try it. And then put it in there and see if that works. So it should be, I got an answer here, but I want to see what you come up with on your end.
One sec, sorry.
No, take your time. It's not a rush.
Five times 16 is 80. I got 15.
Okay. Oh boy, the dog. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's
So I
six.
got a completely different answer. So I want you to just put your answer in there and see if it's correct. Because what I got for an answer was 0.666.
That's actually the answer.
Yeah, because what you're doing is, here's what you're doing. 16 and 24, if you put it into a fraction, it goes as 2/3. 2/3 is 0.6666. So every single time you're using the denominator on the left side as a 16 and the numerator on the bottom 24. What's the next problem?
The next problem was let me find it. I think that was actually it.
Okay, so let's see, we got about 20 minutes left. What else would you like to do?
If you got any like arithmetic reasoning problems you would like to go through, like any test questions or any
Let me see what
quizzes.
I got. Let me see what I got. I think actually one we can do here. Just wait a second. I actually have a test up right now here. We can go through as many of them as possible here. Hold it. What is going on here? Okay, let's try to see how many you can get through here.
Gosh. All right.
Do the best you can.
It is a positive integer. And if n is less than 70, what is the greatest possible value of n? It's a positive number?
It's a positive number, yes. And it's less than 70. So if it's less than 70, do you have to use the 70 and the 7 to divide, add? The key word is that less than symbol. If an n is a positive integer divisible by 7, and if an n is 70 less than 70, what is the greatest possible value of n? Does less than mean to add, subtract, divide, or multiply?
I don't know. Divide or subtract?
Now, it means to subtract. Anytime it says less than, it means to subtract. If it's more than, then it's positive. If it's equal, then it's just 0. Key numbers. What is 70? What is it 49? Is it 56? Is it 63 or 69?
63.
Okay, so I did it a little bit differently for you because it is a little bit complicated in itself to figure out the answer. So I broke it down into simple terms. Okay, should be correct. All right, go down here. The correct answer is C. If you know one multiple of the number, you can find the other multiple by adding and subtracting the number. The number is divisible by 7. The greatest multiple that is less than 70 would be 70 minus 7 equals 63. But also, if you see a less than sign in there, like that, it usually means to subtract it, not multiple number. And plus 70 goes into 63 9 times. 70 goes into 7. 70 goes into 7 10 times. So that's how that answer comes about. This cursor doesn't do that. Oh, yeah. This thing, I'll tell you, this keyboard's something. Wait a second. Let me just get to the next one. I don't know why it just did that. Hold on. Let me just get to the next one. This one will be a little bit easier anyways. That one is a little hard.
Blair's average arithmetic mean of 2 test is 7. What should Blair's score be on the next test to have an overall average of 8? Alright, so I know how to solve this. Is it multiplication? Is it 7 times 8 or 7 plus 8?
1 second. Blair's average arithmetic mean on 2 physics tests is a 7. What should Blair's score be on the next test to have an average of 8 of all tests? So here's the thing. If he has 2 7s, obviously he has to get above an 8 to get an average of an 8. So 7 plus 7 is 14. So he needs to get a total of 24 between all these 3 tests. Right now he has 14. What's 24 minus 14?
It's 10.
Okay. All right. The correct answer is D. The arithmetic mean is defined as the sum of the terms divided by the number of terms. 7 equals the sum divided by 2. I wouldn't go through all this stuff. This is totally ridiculous how they're going through. 14 equals the sum. Adding the next test score will average to change it to an 8. The total terms to 3. 8 equals 14 plus a new score divided by 3. 24 equals 14 plus a new score, and 10 equals a new score. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does. Yeah.
Okay. This one you have to write down because there's extra steps in there that you have to add with the numbers.
All right.
If you're gonna try, just try to take. I know you're gonna probably need some help with this one because your brother did as well. Just do the best you can.
Am I being asked to simplify or to solve? I don't know what R equals. All right. 4x. I need some help. Yeah, I don't want to know how to solve that.
Okay. One thing you do not have to do is give up on yourself. You should be a little bit more patient. But here's how it goes. 4x times x. 4x to the second is what that is. Then 4x plus 1. You just add, you do 4, and it's just 4x to the second plus 4. And then it's an equal sign, I believe, and then it's 2x. That'll make it easier to explain it. This is the answer right here. Let's go down here. One thing is that you should never give up on these problems. I know they're a pain. Like I said, when I took these problems when I was in, I think it was like 10th grade, it was a pain. Okay, so the correct answer is B. This is multiplying binomials problem. Multiply the first term in the first binomial by both terms in the second binomial. So what you're doing is 4x times x is 4x to the second power. Go back down to the bottom. There's 4x to the second power. Plus, you're taking 4x times 1 on this end right here. And that's
What is 4x though? What does x equal?
it doesn't, you don't change that. It's just part of the problem. It's just a variable in the problem. That's how they make the problem up.
And to the second power, is that just 4? That's what?
4x times x. 4x to the second power. You're adding the x's together. That's how you're doing it. 4x to the second power. Then 4x times 1 is just 4x. This is all part of binomials. X does not represent anything other than the variable itself. Then the second item off to the right is the first binomial by term in the second binomial, 2x plus 2. So what you're doing is you're taking plus 2 and x, and that's 2x right here. And then plus 2 plus 1 is times. We're timesing it together. 2 times 1 is 2. 2x plus 2. Right down on the bottom here. Then you combine them all together. 4x to 2, just drop that down. You add that together, that's 6x plus 2. Then you drop it down, that's plus 2. Some of these problems you are converting together. Some of them you simplify. Because this part right here, you're simplifying and putting it down here, and then you're solving the whole thing as a whole as a one problem. So that's why it's called solving and simplifying all at once. Now shoot any questions that you may have within this problem. Or if you want to, here's what I would do for you. What I would do is I would write this problem down on a piece of paper, right? Then write this second step right here. And this is the first part, this is the second part. You would write this as the second step right here. And then this is the third part for the answer. Yeah, let me also, while you're doing that, let me also do something real quick. Let me stop share real quick. I'm gonna do something here. Let me see what's going on here. This thing is running slow as heck.